Inside the studio right now is one of the absolute coolest cars that I have ever had the pleasure of working on. It's a 1967 Ford Mustang in candy apple red, and it's been sitting in a barn for the last 20 years. Now, while I don't have any footage of it sitting in the barn, as the new owner picked it up about a month ago, here's a few shots of it sitting in storage until just a few days ago when the owner loaded it up and brought it out to my studio. Thankfully, all the tires are holding air and the brakes work too, so after a few minutes getting it unstrapped and the ramps in place, we were able to just push it off the trailer and then a little bit of back and forth, and we had it over the drain pit and ready for me to work on. So now that we've got the car inside the studio, what can you tell me about it?
Well, it's an original Saskatchewan car. It was sold down in Swift Current. It was loved by that owner for many, many years until about the year 2000. The next owner purchased it, did a bunch of work extensively to it, and loved it as much as he could. And then, life got in the way and got busy, and it just kind of got forgotten about and put out back. And now it's in this condition that you see. Like the mice have taken up residence in there for many years now, and it's the fine dust of life, I guess, settling on it. It's hopefully in the spring I was going to start taking out the motor and getting that all back to tip-top shape the way it should be. The 289 was removed. It's got a 351 in there, so I'm really excited to get into that. It's a very rare motor. Just to come across that alone is pretty good in itself. So the whole car with it, that to me is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I've definitely got my work cut out for me, but
yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with it. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait.
All right, well, after a few more minutes chatting with Nolan about the car and taking a quick peek at the 351 under the hood, he was on his way and I was able to take a closer look at the job in front of me, and there's no question that this car needs a miracle. The inside has been completely destroyed by mice over the last 20 years, and there's honestly no telling what I'm going to find when I start digging into it further, but I do know it's not going to be good.
Okay guys, well, you've seen the car and just how much work I have ahead of me to get this cleaned up, so it's time to get to work and get the restoration of this beautiful classic underway.
Okay, well, step one here will be to make sure that the windows are rolled up nice and tight, as there's every possibility that they could leak a bit when I hit it with water. But before I do, given that the car sat for over 2 decades, I'm starting with some all-purpose cleaner as a pre-soak to get that dirt softened up a bit so it comes off easier. And while I do, I just have to say that I'm still shocked to have the opportunity to work on a car like this today. Even though it's an absolute disaster right now, it deserves to be restored to its former glory, and I can't wait to see it cleaned up. Now, one thing to note is that the paint on the Mustang isn't original, as it was repainted by the previous owner, and it unfortunately didn't bond very well, as there's lots of spots around the car where the paint is flaking off. So I'll be making sure to be as careful as I possibly can to not make things worse. However, this piece here was bound to come off eventually. So while unfortunate, I do know that Nolan is already planning to repaint the entire car, which would really just put this car over the top when he's done with it. Okay, with the pre-wash rinse done here, I figured I'd get these extra wheels out of the car and spray it off while everything is still wet here. I'm not too sure what his plans are with these, but at least they'll be clean. Now, in terms of classic cars, a 67 Ford Mustang in candy apple red is probably near the top of the list for many people, as it's just a great looking car, and with the 351 Cleveland motor this thing has in it, it's going to be a fantastic car to cruise around in, and maybe do the odd burnout here and there. But I was surprised to learn that back in 1967, over 470,000 of these Mustangs were sold. Not sure how many are left on the road, but they certainly were a popular car in their time. I am curious though, if you'd love to own this car, go ahead and comment down below, or if there's a different classic you'd rather have, like a Challenger, a Chevelle, or even a GTO, go ahead and comment that too. Okay, it's time to get started in the engine bay here, so I'll first grab the shop vac to suck up as much of the loose dirt and debris as I can, and we'll then get to work on cleaning up this 351 Cleveland motor, which is a V8 and undoubtedly sounds incredible. After some quick research, it looks like this motor can put out around 330 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque, which would give it ample power to lay down some rubber. Of course, before trying to get this thing started, the owner is going to take the necessary precautions and not just try to turn it over after it's been sitting for 20 years. Now, once I've got the vacuuming done, I'll quickly get the carburetor covered up, as I certainly don't want any water getting in there, and then I'll follow the usual process of degreaser, agitation, and then a quick rinse with the garden hose. Alright, well, with a satisfying close of the hood, I'm turning my attention inside now, where what I can see at this point is pretty much just piles and piles of mouse turds, but I'm fearing it's even worse in the trunk. Nolan said when he dropped it off that the lock mechanism is stuck, so the key wasn't working, and he even suggested that I drill it out to gain access, but I really didn't want to have to go that far, so after a quick try to see for myself that it was stuck, I resigned myself to having to go through the interior to get it open. But before I can do that, I've got to remove the extra parts and the driver's seat. which was the first time I've seen seats bolted from underneath the vehicle, so that was a bit of a challenge getting them undone. But once it's out, I'll get the back seat removed. Though before I go any further and discover just how bad the trunk is, I want to get things cleaned up before I crawl into it, including the first of many dead mice. Now, while I move to the back passenger side, you might be wondering to yourself why I'm not using my central vacuum today. And well, that's simply because I really don't want to risk clogging the lines with all these mouse nests, which, if you hadn't guessed, consists mostly of all the foam that was in the back seat. But the other reason is so that I can find all the dead mice in this car, of which I'm expecting there to be quite a few. Looking at this section of carpet, and I already know that I'm going to have to pull the carpet, the amount of mouse turds and just overall filth sitting here is going to make it very difficult for the extractor alone to do the job. And not to mention that this car is by far the worst smelling vehicle I've ever worked on. So knowing that, I'll have to be as aggressive as possible today to get the smell out. Okay, with the inside a bit cleaner, I finally got the upper portion of the back seat removed, but still have a tough job of getting the latch mechanism unbolted. But after hooking together all the extenders I could find on my ratchet, I had the trunk open and it was a shock to say the least. Looks like this is where the mice spent most of their time, as besides using the seat foam for their nests, they also chewed into these boxes and used the styrofoam packaging too. Yeah, truly wild. But what's even more fun is the second I got into the trunk, I saw a live mouse running around, so I'm not working in here alone today. Hard to believe, but this is the second time that I've filled the shop vac with mouse turds and nests already. Continuing in the trunk, and it didn't take long before I found yet another dead mouse. I think I'm up to 4 on the day so far and have confirmed that there are 2 mice living in this car right now. One is a light gray color and the other is light brown. I've seen them run across the carpet a number of times, so I'll hopefully have the camera in my hands the next time they do. Here's a quick look at what the carpet is looking like after vacuuming, and while it's a heck of a lot cleaner, I am going to go ahead and start the process of removing the carpet, which first involves taking off the door sill trim pieces, shifter trim piece, and of course the seat belts. Okay, well, it's time to see just how good my carpet cleaner really is, as this carpet is horrendous. So I'll get some sprayed on with my pump sprayer, and we'll then be sure to agitate really well. And like I mentioned earlier, the pressure washer really was needed today, as the carpets are just absolutely disgusting. And even if I am able to get them clean, I'm still going to recommend to Nolan that he just replace them with new ones. And as always, if you've got dirty carpets or seats in your vehicle, then head over to detailgeekautocare.com, where you can find my carpet cleaner along with nearly every other product and tool that I use in my videos, like my all-purpose cleaner, which I'll be using on the interior in a little bit. And if they can clean a car this disgusting, well, they'll make quick work of any mess that you can throw at them. Quick update on the mouse situation. I found the brown one. Noticed him out of the corner of my eye scurrying around inside the driver's door, so I'll be sure to set some traps inside the car and around the studio tonight. Here's a quick look at the front seat belts, and while they're very clearly dirty, I wasn't at all prepared for the sludge that came out of them. Cleaning seat belts isn't something I typically film, but I just had to with these ones, as my all-purpose cleaner and steamer are able to quickly get these clean. But man, that sludge is gross. I liken it to what you'd expect to get if you wrung out the lungs of a lifetime smoker. Absolutely horrifying. Alright, well, even though these seats might be vinyl, I'm still using my leather cleaner as it'll work just as good here, and I of course need to use the steamer with it because the dirt and mouse turds are deeply embedded. But I do have to say I'm impressed with how well this combo works, because the seats ended up coming out looking new. And on the topic of seats, you probably noticed that the passenger seat wasn't in the car when it showed up. Well, not to worry, Nolan brought it over in his truck, so while it's currently in 2 pieces, I will still get it cleaned up for him. Now, despite hearing that the owner plans to repaint this car, I'm still going to go ahead and polish the paint today, but before I can do that, I need to use clay bar to make sure it's free of any embedded contaminants, which it of course was. Okay, I'm going to start on the trunk first with some of my finishing polish and a microfiber cutting pad, which I've already proven in a test spot to give me good results. Now, I'm not aiming for 100% correction here, as like I said, the owner does plan to repaint it, but I just want to bring some depth and gloss back to this paint while also removing some of the light scratches and swirls. Now, while I work on the hood here, you'll notice that I'm avoiding the areas where the paint is cracked or chipped already, as I don't want to make that any worse. So I'll just focus my efforts on the paint that's still in good shape. And while I do, I wanted to quickly let you know that there's a new Yard Geek video coming tomorrow, Saturday, December 9th. There's a whole pile of irrigation to get into the ground for many hundreds of new trees and a bit of an unexpected fire to deal with. So make sure you tune in and subscribe to the new channel, The Yard Geek. Okay, with the paint polish, I'll turn my attention to the chrome using my correcting compound as it's got a fair bit more bite to it, and in a matter of a few minutes, the chrome is looking 10 times better. Though it is deeply pitted in a few spots and is too far gone to be fixed. Now for all the chrome trim that's too small for my polisher, I'll work on this by hand with a microfiber applicator pad and some correcting compound, and good old-fashioned elbow grease should have it all shining in no time. Last step on the paint now is to get some protection applied, and for that I'm using my ceramic spray coating, which is really going to improve the gloss and give it some protection as it sits in the owner's garage all winter long. Okay, well, to revive this hardtop, I'll use some 303 aerospace protectant as it offers great UV protection, so the sun damage on here doesn't get any worse, but it also has the added benefit of making it look new again as it restores a nice, deep matte black finish. Now, as I put the finishing touches on the Mustang, I've already made arrangements for Nolan to come pick it up, and I cannot wait to see his reaction as I know he's going to be completely blown away.
Hey, come on in. Take a look at the car.
Oh my God. Wow.
Yeah,
This shined up incredibly.
it is
Oh
looking
my
really good.
goodness, man. Oh, look at, oh my, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Eh?
Wow.
It was like a mouse hotel in there.
Oh my, from the amount of nests that I saw in it,
Oh yeah. It was bad.
my God.
It was really bad.
it is better than I even imagined. This is incredible.
Oh, it looks so
Oh
good.
my goodness. You probably are gonna smell for a week.
See, that was probably the worst smelling car that I've had.
Yeah.
And I can still smell it. It was bad. It was bad.
This is
Yeah.
unbelievable though. Like,
Oh yeah.
this is better than I imagined
good.
it was gonna.
Pop the hood. Take a look under there too.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, my knees are shaking right now. Like, man, this is unreal. Oh, like, this is like, it's impeccable. Like the work that you did to this, And in the time,
16 hours. It was a long couple days, but
this is, wow. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, I'm happy to. I mean, happy to just be a part of getting this thing back on the road, right?
Yeah.
Like it's an awesome car.
I'll never forget this. Yeah. This is unbelievable. Like, oh man. This is going to be nice to cruise in the summer.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, you're a lucky guy.
Oh my gosh. Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world right now, honestly. Like,
wow, you are. You got a
lottery,
beautiful car, right? Once she's back on the road, yeah. Be a good cruiser.
Oh my God, my heart's just pumping like crazy right now.
That's a sweet car.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So when you got into the trunk, like, what was your first thought as soon as you like peeled the seat?
The second I got in there, I saw a mouse.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was just like, hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? I'm so happy.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. This is great.
All right, guys, well, 16 hours is what it took to undo the colossal mess that was this Mustang and to get it ready to hit the road once again. Although the owner does still have a little bit of work to do to get that engine going again, but I, for one, am just honored to have been able to play a small part in getting to see a classic like this back on the streets. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to check out the new Yard Geek video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.